My name is Shipe. I am a trumpet player around the area, and I also am a government contractor through the United States Army. Well, if I had to start, it has to start when I was a kid. My dad was a band director in Fond du Lac. And so I grew up in Fond du Lac, and what we would do is every Saturday, every couple Saturdays, we would come up to Heid Music, because I think at that time, this was the only location. And so for me, it was kind of like our time to do our father-son bonding, but I didn't know it at the time. It was an opportunity for him to kind of like show me his world without any other distractions, without any other students, without anything like that. It was just him and I to kind of get into his world and show me what he did a little bit more. And then through there, I got to know a lot of other people that worked here. All through growing up, whether I was buying a new trumpet when I was in high school, or whether I needed a new book, or whether I needed new equipment, I always came up here. And now I have relationships with Chris and Skitch when he worked here, and Tyler Jones, and a bunch of these people that I really love a lot. You know, the beautiful part about doing this for a while now, there's a lot of people that have done it much longer than I have, and not as much as I have, but you know, the more you do it, accomplishments are just the ability to keep going. For me, the ability that I keep getting calls and I keep getting to go do some great performances and play with really cool people. That's probably it for me. Accomplishments is just establishing those relationships. There could be awards in there could be this and that, but you know, when you start to really think about the core of it, it's, you know, I'm more happy with these relationships that we make. Well, it kind of goes along the same lines as what I've kind of been talking about when I came to this one. For all these years, whether I needed this or that, I always came to the people that I knew from all those years, because I think it has a lot to do with community. This was the first place that I really understood what that was, and I think that's why my dad was trying to get me into that kind of rhythm of, okay, there's these people that really understand this and we can build this community out of there. And I think that's what set the foundation and fundamental for a lot of how I became a musician and how I operate as a musician and how I treat people and how I understand people and they understand me. And it starts with this place here, I guess. I'm talking a lot about my dad, but when I got older, it was like this pushback of, I don't want you to help me at all. I'm gonna try to figure this out on my own. And that's where a lot of other people come and help me out. Like my first trumpet teacher, Marty Robinson, who's awesome, who's a great trumpet player. But he delicately guided me through and said, if you want to do this, this is kind of what we have to do. And if you want to do that, we have to do this. I can't imagine leading somebody through something like that, especially during a high school age. It's a tough thing to do, to say, I want to try this. But he said, you can have this as a hobby as you grow older, or we can take this a little more seriously. And I took that serious route. But it was teachers and people in the community bands that kind of helped guide me through that younger part of my life. I think that's where a lot of people misinterpret being a musician is, you know, you can play your instrument, you can practice your instrument, but another part of that is going to see what your instrument sounds like, especially at a really young age. 5th grade, I had just started playing trumpet and my parents took me to go see Arturo Sandoval. I was a trumpet player, super awesome, and I remember just sitting there and being flabbergasted. I didn't understand what he was doing, how he was doing it, and at that time in my elementary school, and we were learning instruments and stuff, there was no band room, so we'd go into the boys' locker room. That's where our lessons were, and I would try to do all this stuff that I just heard, and then it just kept going. It just kept pushing me along. It was that was my favorite thing ever, is going into the boys' locker room and just trying week after week to do what I had heard by hearing live music.